All right, guys, welcome back to the JA Dugout, and today we have a special guest, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Can you introduce yourself? A special
Don't
guest
know,
today.
clinical Jamaican citizen. I'm gonna go by Ken or Amos as well. Big up, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, and he's a he's a fan, the fan of a treble winning team. And you can see it in his
100%.
headphones. Um, you can see he's not shy about that, and he's been very bold in his talking since recently, especially since recently. Um, but yeah, good to have you. Good to have you on my channel on this channel. So,
Yeah, man,
um,
anytime.
just to start off, and today's topic that I would like to talk about is Harry Maguire being treated unfairly? So we see, um, we see Harry Maguire, especially in the midweek. He was brought even before that. Harry Maguire lost his captaincy over the summer. He lost his role as captain of Manchester United. He's a record signing, £80 million signing. English lost his captaincy. Lost his place in the first team. Was brought on against Arsenal, and as he was brought on, the Arsenal fans cheered. They
Hmm.
celebrated him being brought on. They were happy, and immediately after he was brought on, Arsenal scored and they won the game. Not saying that the goals were his fault, but it's just a bad coincidence that right as comes on, Manchester United concede two goals, and then midweek he came on against Scotland. Gareth Southgate brought him on against Scotland, and he scored Scotland's only goal for the day. So it's a matter of the fact where it's saying people are because Gareth Southgate said it's a shame he's being treated that way and he's being scapegoated and such and such, and saying that people have no right to be talking about him and all of that abuse. I mean, yeah, we understand that footballers deal with mental health concerns, like mental health, especially like we have to understand footballers are not machines, they're
Robots, yeah.
humans. They're humans and they'll experience stuff. But what I see a lot of people, I know there are a lot of people must still be able to accept criticism, I believe.
Hmm.
And I will not go on to berate Maguire. And like all if people have been sending him messages directly and such, then that's not good. But um people have a right to criticize Gareth Southgate's um choice to keep on playing Maguire even though he's not playing for his club. He's picking Maguire, he's picking Calvin Phillips, even though they're not playing for their club. Calvin Phillips, how many times has Calvin Phillips played for Man City last season? How many games did he play? And how many minutes total? And Maguire, he's not even playing for Manchester United and he still keep on picking him. Calvin Phillips got a role in the squad. And so what my thing is Maguire being treated unfairly? I say no. I say no in the context where um people are right to be able to criticize not just Maguire, because I've heard people saying that, he's playing badly, drop him, which Eric Ten Hag has done. But Gareth Southgate still seems like he's back in 2019 or 2018, and he's keeping on playing Maguire. And when a player does not play for his club, he loses fitness, match fitness,
Hmm.
and all that. So
Sharpness as well.
yeah, his sharpness. So to keep on playing players are not playing for their club, and then to have the nerve to say that they're not being treated well, I also believe it's hypocrisy from him because he also talked about Foden not playing because they said Foden, why don't he play Foden in the midfield? And he said, well, he doesn't play there for his club, so presumably he wouldn't play him there. So I'm saying if you want us to talk about Foden like that, Maguire doesn't play for his club at all. So why do you play Maguire? Why do you play Calvin Phillips? And yeah, so I think Gareth Southgate has a lot to. I think the criticism should be directed more to Gareth Southgate because he sometimes I don't understand his choice, how he chooses players and what is in his head. What do you think?
So I think it's a difficult question to answer, and it's mainly based on the perspective that you're looking at it from. Now, to be fair, every club has certain people of their fan base who, when they're criticizing a player or manager or anybody really, they tend to go a little bit too far. And I'm sure international teams also have that issue as well. But on the other side of things, like if you actually think about it, the game has been it's gotten soft over the years. Back in the day when me just grew up, and my older brother did mainly was the one where I watch football at the house. Them times there criticism will come around. The first thought of players is to take that criticism head on, use that as fuel, push themselves in future games and come up with better performances, silencing them haters. That's how the celebration here get popular. Now, these days, and this is a mental health is a very touchy topic, right? But I kind of get the feeling that it's being used as a cop out in some situations to hide poor performances. Like it for a player like Maguire, like you mentioned before, he's gone to Manchester United for a big fee, £80 million. Manchester City were also interested in him at that time. He was playing well for Leicester City to gather interest from both clubs. And at the time, as much as people probably thought it wasn't an $80 million move or £80 million move, they still thought, he's a good, at least serviceable defender, and this is going to be a good move for him, even if it's not the best value move for the club, right? Now, this is where I am not necessarily sorry for Harry Maguire. Since that move, he has been one of the worst centre backs in the league, at least expectation wise. I'm sure you would not have him at Chelsea, and I'm as bad as you guys are, and I'm certain we would not have him at Manchester City. You wouldn't even see our bench. Even right now at Manchester United, in the current state that they are, he's like fifth or sixth choice, and that is in itself concerning. He had an opportunity to make his move to West Ham as well over the summer for a £30 million fee. I think that would have been a great move for him. West Ham being a team right now that you could compare in terms of their current situation versus the version of Leicester City that Harry Maguire left Manchester United for. So I think with that, with the less expectation from that, he could focus more on his performances, step out of the spotlight a little bit. Manchester United is, regarded by many as the biggest club in England. With that price tag as well, being the most expensive defender, like there's so many eyes on him, and he's not playing well. So he should be expecting to get criticism from fans and from rival fans as well. And he's, in my opinion, unjustly being included in the England setup as well as Calvin Phillips over recent times. But Gareth Southgate has this thing about, players who did well for him previously, regardless of them club form, he wants to keep working with them. There are a bunch of holes in that logic, but we don't have to get into that right now. We already know Southgate is it's split on him as well because he mentioned the Phil Foden thing, and his response to that was very funny to me because he said, but why isn't Foden not playing in the midfield? Because Pep Guardiola doesn't play him there, so there must be a reason. What that's supposed to mean? You are a coach, you're a head coach. You're supposed to be able to make these types of judgmental decisions based on your own basis and reasoning. You are saying you don't know Pep's reasoning, but you're willing to go with it because he's the best manager in the world. It's just really weird. But I think obviously aside from people going over the top, he's probably getting a lot of direct messages as well on social media, Harry Maguire, and I don't think that will do any good for his confidence. But in terms of the overall criticism, I from what I'm able to see on social media, at least I think it's warranted because he hasn't played well or at least even been in a good vein of form for a while now. So it'd be very difficult to say that he's being treated unfairly.
Yeah, that's exactly the same thought. And it's just weird to see Maguire at this stage of his career being benched, and such a different player from what we saw at Leicester City. And sometimes you have to wonder, is it a result of coaching? Is it a result of the system that they're playing with? Because he does not seem to be a ball playing defender. He's definitely not comfortable with the ball at his feet like that. And I can see that Ten Hag is someone who likes playing the ball at. He likes playing ball, like passing around the ball, like passing type of football.
Possession
So he
play.
got Onana, and that is still up to um, that's still in the cards of whether that's a good decision or not. If you brought in Onana over there, out of 10 shots that Onana has faced, he's considered seven. But
But even speaking on that Ten Hag point, you mentioned that he likes a possessional play. Bring in Mason Mount, like as for a deep line playmaker. You sure Mason Mount is the type of profile you want to get? And if I plan to use him as a 10, even though that's not really what he was doing, it's kind of him and Bruno Fernandes he was working with. Even if you're going to play him over Bruno Fernandes, that's the type of number 10 you want to go with for positional play. Like it's still questionable. I really don't know where Ten Hag cook right now.
mm, I don't know. That's a very questionable transfer, and I'm not sure. I wanted Mason Mount to stay at Chelsea, but um, I don't know if I think we got a lot of money for him, which is good, which is very good. But yeah, the with Maguire, how do you think Maguire would have so imagine Maguire went to Manchester City instead of Manchester United. Where do you think he would be right now?
All right. So again, this is a tough question, but I've definitely thought about it in the past before, right? I think we could have gotten him, but it became a bidding war, and traditionally, this current board for Manchester City does not like to engage in bidding wars because it's kind of similar to what's happening with Manchester United now, where everybody in the market basically tell them to idiot, and what if them want a player, them are gonna end up paying whatever the asking club are asked for because them have a history of doing that. Whereas people try to do that with our board, and we're trying to kind of step away from that light. And now you're seeing the business getting much better because of that. So the moment that became a bidding war, we stepped out of it. And regarding the signings that we've made, particularly under Pep, the majority of the time them bang. I'm not saying every single one of them came out to expectation or hit the levels that we hoped for. But most of the time, 8 times out of 10 at least, the signings bang. So I would like to believe that bringing in Harry Maguire there would have been a plan in terms of development and what he'd be brought in to actually assist the team with. And you mentioned that he's not really good in positional play. It's funny because when he was playing for England, that's one of the points where he was getting a lot of respect. His passing like down the flanks from a defensive position was really good. He could switch the play on either side. He would be receiving the ball into his feet from the centre backs around him or from Pickford most of the time, and he'd help the ball transition upfield. It's usually in like defensive setups like 1v1 or like situations where he needs to use him pace, he really struggle. But inside a back three, it usually gets him alongside a partner, assistants around him, even if he does get beat.
Mm. Well,
We play a back four, so I don't know how that would have work with Maguire coming in, but yeah, it's mainly
last
speculation on my part though. But I think I don't know. Where I
mm,
say,
last season I saw Maguire in multiple situations where he was uncomfortable with the ball at his foot when under pressure by the strikers.
mm,
Even see taking note of in the Sevilla match, especially Champions League last season. The Champions League or Europa League?
it
Europa
was
League.
Europa League for
Europa
sure.
League last season, sorry. Um, where he was constantly pressured and actually gave away the ball. Well, he actually led to I think it was multiple errors in that one game
Yeah,
is
I think I remember the play. The hair passed it to him, and him try to turn. There was really no space or options there, and them take it off him and them set up a goal immediately.
yeah.
And
He was asking for he
just to
was
make
asking
sure
for the
when I
yeah.
made that point, yeah, I remember that. Just when I made that point about him being decent on the ball, that was leaving Leicester City. I think Maguire has regressed a lot since that version of himself at Leicester City because there, like I said, the expectation wasn't as much, and I guess mistakes would have been there as well that didn't get highlighted as much. But at the end of the day, like it was not as terrible as we've seen through the time with Ole, through the time with Ragnick, and even with Ten Hag last season with Maguire playing. So I'm not saying right now that he's good on the ball. I'm not that advocate for him.
Okay. Yes, guys, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment on it about your thoughts. And yes, take care. Till next time.